This is what we've got going on so far in our little grow tent. We've got these are Delphinium, these two, and these two are Snapdragons. They have to be done up about 10 weeks before going outside, before the last frost. So these ones are actually a little early. I started them 2 weeks ago and starting to get some little growth on there. So depending how they do, I'll probably split those up eventually. I should have done that before, but I didn't have a cell tray, so here we are. I've got some bush beans here. I'm just seeing what they'll do. They dried out a little bit, so I watered them, and we'll see how they do in the next couple of days. But I mean, they're growing. I don't expect to get too much off of them with what setup I have, but just wanted to do a little experiment. And back here, I have some dahlia tuber that I saved from last year, and I was nervous about dividing up the eyes, so I've just kind of started watering this slightly, just enough to kind of get it to start coming back to life. And then I'm not sure if I'm going to divide the eyes up, or where I have this in so early, I might do some cuttings with some rooting hormone, some rosemary that we overwintered from last season. It was just sitting in the garage for a while. I didn't have the tent set up at the time, so it was more or less just kind of sitting in here, get any natural light it could. And it's such a hardy plant. But now that I've got it in the grow light, taking care of it and stuff, there's so much new growth on that, so I'm excited to get that out into what I hope to be a small herb garden, just a little kitchen herb gardening later on. So what I've got for setup right now, Marley is amazing. She got me this 4x4 grow tent and this 1,000-watt LED light with veg bloom options on them. That's what I'm kind of wanting to see with the beans, if they'll just grow under one. But anyway, we'll see what happens. I got a lot going on with that right now. I kind of cleaned it up a bit. I'm going to be planting some peppers shortly, probably next week, so we'll do a video about that. And I needed to make a little bit of space. I've got 2 heating mats under those. I'll explain this blue bin in a minute. It's pretty cold in the garage. We don't really like burning oil to heat our garage. If I'm out here doing something, I'm usually wearing a jacket or something. So I definitely needed a heat source. It's a double-edged sword because it also dries out seedlings really quickly. So I mean, these are nice and damp still. But what I've been doing is I have a water bottle that I just poked some holes in the cap, and I just have water in that, just so it's like a gentle misting on them. I'm not trying to knock them over. There we go. But this heating mat really dries the water out, especially in combination with the grow light. So lately I've also been just watering from the bottom. I'm just letting that run down the side of that pot, just so there is some water in the bottom of the tray, and it's pitched this way. So as you can see, most of the water is dry back there, but it's coming this direction so that they can uptake water from the bottom, just to give them that extra little bit of boost. I've got a little bit of electricity here with the heating mats and the light, but I have the cables, anything that I need, run outside of this drip tray and then secure it up, pull, and then that goes over to the vent to go out, and there's the connection for the grow light as well. Yeah, so that's been the tour. The last thing here is our little worm farm. So I bought 100 worms off of the internet, local guy, and they're doing pretty good. I haven't counted them or anything, but feeding them mostly just little pieces of scraps. I've been feeding them some bigger pieces just to see how long they take up to digest it all. But there's definitely some good growth in there. Let's see if I can find some of these beautiful little things. I'll try not to crush them. Oh, there's one there. They try to avoid the light. There we go. There's a nice little cluster. Hopefully they're getting in there and getting all excited and making eggs for me so that I can have even more worms to eat even more compost. But I mean, even the compost is just a very small part of why I wanted to do this. What I'm really looking for is the castings, which are going to be in here. And if I can lift this up, there's a little bit of worm juice down there, and that stuff is great for the seedlings. So I'm just, you know, trying stuff out and seeing how it goes. Anyway, check back next week for more.